Hi, I'm Eric Lanask with TMC. We're here at our Editors' Days in Santa Clara. Joining me in the studio now is Amit Jain from SpiderCloud Wireless. Amit, thank you for joining me. Great to have you with us.
Pleasure, Eric.
So there's been an issue for some time that enterprises have faced, and that's how to, in building cellular coverage. It, in some cases, can be extremely disruptive.
Right.
Why is it such a problem?
Well, the way a lot of buildings are being built right now, especially with the new construction standards, it is really difficult to get signal inside the building, because once you try to keep all the heat and the cooling inside the building, you'll do a great job doing that, but then you'll keep all the cellular signal out. And there is really no way to fix that problem by adding more cell sites outside. And this is a problem that will cut across all operators, because if signal cannot penetrate your building, it doesn't matter whether you have AT&T service or Verizon service.
Right.
You'll basically have no service inside the building. And I think a lot of people are frustrated about that.
So how can enterprises approach that? What can they do?
So today, the main thing that enterprises can do is that they'll call up their operator and they'll say, hey, help fix my problem. And the carriers would do it. But for them to do it, you have to be a really, really large enterprise. Mm-hmm. And they do it using these products called distributed antenna systems.
Sure.
So they'll take 8 to 9 months. They'll spend a bunch of time inside your building, lay out a whole bunch of coax cable. They'll ask you for a bunch of space in your network closets. They'll bring in a few racks of equipment, connect it all up, and then say, Eric, you need to sign up for a 3-year subscription. Make sure all your 2,000 employees are on that plan. And that's how they do it. What we are doing at SpiderCloud is offering an alternative. And we have a lot of large operators who are embracing it. We are making it. We're making building in-building cellular systems as easy as building a Wi-Fi system. So we built this product called a small cell, or we call it a scalable small cell system. So small cell looks just like an access point, just like a Wi-Fi access point, but it doesn't do Wi-Fi. It does LTE or UMTS. And then you take these small cells and you install them inside your building. They connect to your Ethernet LAN that's in the building. We have a box that we call the services node. It's a small controller. And it takes 1 rack unit of space inside your networking closet, brings all these small cells together. And then this controller connects back to the carrier's network. And within a few days, you have fantastic cellular service inside your building. That's our value proposition to our carriers. And
it right off the bat, it sounds a whole lot more cost effective than having to put a couple racks into the server room.
Yes, it is often less than a third of the cost of doing what you could have done with distributed antenna systems. And this makes a difference in 2 ways. One, whatever budget the carriers had, now they can do 3 or 4 times as many buildings. So in the past, let's say with your CapEx, you could do 100 buildings in San Francisco or in New York. You can do 500 right now. But the second thing is it also makes it possible for, if an enterprise chooses, they can now actually offer to solve the problem on their own. So let's say you run a few 100-person business, and you have employees that really depend upon cellular. You have salespeople who are missing phone calls because their phone doesn't work outside. There's a productivity problem. And for years, you've been calling up your carrier, and they're saying, look, we love you, but 200 employees, I've got bigger fish to fry. Mm-hmm. So now you have an opportunity to say, look, I'm willing to spend the money. I'm willing to put as much money as I put in my Wi-Fi network. I'll buy the equipment. It's now affordable for the enterprise to do it. And a lot of the operators that we work with are now open to the idea that if the enterprise wants to do it, they'll help them connect the system back to their network. SpiderCloud is a relative. We're a startup. We're based in Silicon Valley, but we have a partnership with Cisco Systems in the U.S. They resell our entire portfolio, and so it's possible for the enterprise to today buy a small cell system from them, or if they like directly from us. But they have the Cisco option right now, and they have a chance that they can solve the cellular problem that they have faced for years.
Are the wireless carriers pushing this as an alternative as well? Because it seems to me that it's going to be beneficial for them simply because they're able to provide better service.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we have several large operators actually work with SpiderCloud. In the U.S., Verizon Wireless is is the operator that has publicly announced that they're working with us. In Europe, we work with Vodafone, and we've had a long-standing relationship with Vodafone. They have SpiderCloud networks deployed in London, in Netherlands. This is all out in the public. In Latin America, we work with the América Móvil group. América Móvil is the largest telecom operator in Latin America, in Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. So we are expanding, and the carriers love it because one, they can do it for less, but also, as we were discussing right at the beginning of our conversation, the reason enterprises are facing this problem is because the way buildings are being constructed. So if a building doesn't have service, often you don't get service from any operator.
Right.
And the one operator that can build a system inside your building, I think most people, it automatically means that everybody who works in that enterprise would sooner or later switch to that carrier. So it's a huge benefit for the carriers, absolutely.
Certainly, that makes an awful lot of sense, which then begs the question, why don't more carriers want to support it?
I think, we are working with carriers around the world. This is new technology, and carriers don't adopt technology like my son would adopt the technology in an evening. He'll kind of look it up. He'll be downloading it. He'll be using it. Carriers have to see how the product works, how it integrates with their network. Can they manage it? Can they maintain it? What is their roadmap? So there is a long process to get a new product introduced. What we are doing is really innovative. We have brought it to market over the last couple of years, and I think right now we have fantastic validation from some of the top operators in the world, and we are continuing to expand our relationships.
Well, it sounds like that's for good reason. Amit, thank you so much for joining us here today.
A pleasure, Eric. Thank you for having me over.